In a world where insanity reigns supreme and safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, it's comforting to know an ancient, fat, long-haired, bearded reprobate has your mind in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, and despite every attempt by the SHR Media Network to revoke his shameless contract, we return to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Oh, you magnificent bastard, I read your book. I drink your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch! Of course you realize this means war.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm back. It's late. I'm still in California. Just not exactly where I was before. And I'm missing a ring. How the hell did that happen? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I'm broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Always spell it with a K. This time, however, I am no longer 2 miles east of the Bill Mill at 10th and L Streets in downtown Sacramento. That studio has moved. And I moved it last Friday. Okay, all right. The truth is, Sackhead Sean boxed it up mostly. I moved some. He did a lot of work. I have to tell you this, be forewarned, what you're about to hear for the next 2 hours consists of my opinion and no one else's. And though the studio has changed, the saloon is still serving stiff drinks, facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, intent, and common sense out the front and back doors, depending upon the fear porn quotient. Allegedly, we're open now, according to Newsom. Today, tomorrow, next week, who the hell knows? But I always say this, we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation. Politics, religion, crime, culture, race, sex, economics, science, law. We talk about it all right here at the saloon where the speech is free, but the booze is not. This is again 2021, and I'm done with bipartisanship or compromise. And I'm also done pretty much with the Republican Party. This is the new age of modern political warfare. Gaslighting, lies, massive hypocrisy, half-truths, threats, and all on the part of Democrats, leftists, anarchists, aided and abetted by the American media maggots. They have all declared, we are on an open war footing with you. Disbelieve it at your own peril. This is going to be a show where I have some stories lined up. This will not perhaps be as regimented as they have in the past. I don't particularly have anybody on in the show tonight. Some people have said, okay, who's going to be on? I put it out on social media. I don't know how many people happen to catch it in social media, but I just felt the impetus to get back and do a full show. So as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, this is going to be a regular show, and we're going to start with regular stuff.
The Bloviating Zeppelins HeyJackass.com Chicago Death Toll Update. Courtesy of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
This comes from HeyJackass.com. HeyJackass.com, illustrating Chicago values, June to date. Today, by the way, is June 15th, Tuesday, June 15th, the year of our Lord 2021. In Chicago, June to date, shot and killed 40, shot and wounded 200. Total shot 240, total homicides 40. Week in progress, June 13th to June 19th, shot and killed 10, shot and wounded 46, total shot 56, total homicides 10. Year to date, shot and killed 291, shot and wounded 1,395, total shot 1,686. It's only June. Half of the year, total homicides 308. So, a person is wounded in the city of Chicago. Thanks, Lori Lightfoot. A person is wounded in Chicago every 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And a person is murdered in Chicago every 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Wow, that's pretty impressive. And that's why I call it... Hello, that's producer. Tap, tap, that means you.
The Bloviating Zeppelins HeyJackass.com Chicago Death Toll Update. Courtesy of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you. And that, of course, brings us now to this.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Well, here's a couple of happy stories. Sometimes you have to look high and low to try to find these. I do my level best to try to make sure that I find as many happy stories as I possibly can. There are some out there. You just have to be willing to look for them. Would it shock you to know that a lot of these are coming from the state of Florida? Well, it really shouldn't shock you at all.
Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida joins us tonight. Governor, thanks so much for coming on. We've seen bills like this in a bunch of different states come before Republican governors who don't sign them because they came under corporate pressure not to sign them. How much corporate pressure did you come under not to sign this bill?
Well, it was interesting, Tucker. I think as these bills were going through various legislatures, I remember the NCAA put out a statement saying any state that enacts this, we're not going to hold events there. And so I called the Speaker of the House in Florida and I said, did you hear what they said? And he's like, yeah. I said, we definitely got to get this done. You can't be cowed by these organizations, or particularly by woke corporations, from doing the right thing. And so my view was throughout this whole time, we have to protect our girls. It is discriminatory to force them to compete against biological males. And so if the price of having a tournament is that I have to deny equal opportunity to hundreds of thousands of young girl and women athletes throughout Florida, I am much more willing to stand with the girls and to hell with these events.
I think it's really a great point, and you listen to the...
Okay, stop. That's what a real honest-to-God governor sounds like, which is why everybody wants to move to Florida, which is why people are Oh, do I have stories about draining leftist states, including myself? Continue.
The athletes, and it's, they're at the 80-meter mark when the race is already won, and they're the top female runners in the state. I mean, it's ridiculous. Do you expect that?
And Selena made the point today. Selena made the point today. She missed New England regionals by 2 places, and those 2 places ahead of her were biological males. So she did everything that she could. She put herself in the position, and had they had fair competition, she would have advanced. She could have advanced in her career. A lot of these women are going to have opportunities to play in college. Some of them get college scholarships. But even short of that, these are enjoyable experiences they'll remember for the rest of their lives. And just think how you feel to basically get cheated out of a victory.
So so unfair, and we shouldn't tolerate it. You haven't. Do you expect to be punished, and do you expect your state to be punished for this?
No, actually, I don't think so, Tucker, because I think what I think we've shown, not just with this, but we did a strong election integrity bill.
Okay, stop just for a second. This is where I have to intervene. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who knows what's going to happen to him in the future? Will he be running for higher office someplace else, i.e. president? Don't know. There's a lot more to shake out. In 2022, I think things are going to really turn around for the Republicans, for conservatives. I'm not big on Republicans, but I'm sure as hell big on conservatives. But it's just odd about this. A precedent was set, and it was set by President Trump, who quite frankly couldn't have cared less what people said about him. And then I got to the point at the beginning, because I didn't know him, I listened to some of what he said, and he was amusing. He was entertaining as hell. But I went by, what have you done for me lately? Deeds, not words. Deeds, not words. There's an axiom in politics. It goes like this: meet words with words, meet actions with actions. Historically speaking, unfortunately, in the past number of decades, Republicans have not met actions with actions. They've said things that they never followed through with. Donald Trump pissed off so many people, thank God, because he said some things, and then of all the things that he'd said, he followed up on a bunch of them, which is historically amazing in terms of presidents. Most don't. But he set this precedent in terms of he really didn't care what you said about him. Because as it turns out, most of the things that he stated were true. But you have to not care. There isn't anything that a leftist can do to me anymore. I'm done. You can't hold my job over me. You can't hold anything over me. That's a liberating position. And so it was with President Trump. So let these two individuals, for example, set the benchmark. Don't care what people say about you, and don't let them hurt you. Deeds, not words.